Hello and welcome everyone to the first video of the channel. I'm DardyH. Now before we get on to today's video, I'd like to give a shout out to Major Rage. He's helped with the behind the scenes of this channel, and he's been very helpful indeed. So thank you sir. Now let's get on to today's video. So today's review will be of the Where mode, the same right? Much better. As I was saying, today's review will be of the Yamato, the tier 10 Japanese battleship, with her 460mm guns. So, the Yamato, what do you need to know about her? She's a tier 10 Japanese battleship. She's your prize for reaching the top. And she isn't a disappointing prize either. As I said, these 460mm guns will punch through anything, up to 32mm of course, such as the bow. However, of course, all good things have its downside, such as the armor. As you can see, it's not terrible. However, when we take away this, you can now see the problem. Right here, we've got two very large, very nasty cheeks of armor, which sit right above the waterline. Point a 16-inch gun or higher at that, and you get a citadel. Provided, of course, RNG doesn't say no. Her AA is somewhat laughable, only really shooting down aircraft when they decide to hang about. However, it isn't all frowns in this town. Its concealment is acceptable, and its maneuverability is quite adequate, as you'll see in the upcoming replay. Now, speaking of the replay, let's get to that. Alright then, onto the replay. We are on Warrior's Path, and of course we're in the Yamato, which means that we are top tier. And we have spawned in the north. We are probably going to go for A cap. Now, earlier in the video I mentioned that Yamato's guns can overmatch 32mm of armor. Why is this? This is because of the 14.3 rule, which is pretty much your gun caliber divided by 14.3, and then the answer rounded up to a whole number is what your guns can overmatch, which means that it doesn't matter what angle that ship is presenting to you, you can penetrate up to that level of armor. And in Yamato's case, that is 32mm of armor that it ignores. Right then, this is going to be a bit of time before we get into action. So, if you guys have liked the video so far, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you hated this content, give a thumbs down and tell me that you hate me. But all that aside, I hope you are enjoying the replay and the video itself. And yes, I am in Clan Moist, which is the same clan that Major Rage is in. That's how I've been able to contact him over all this YouTube stuff. Now, at the beginning of the match, we are looking for battleships that we can shoot at from long range. Because, as I said, it doesn't really matter what armor that we run into, as long as it's not greater than 32mm, which most battleships at tier 8 through to 10 have. Alright, what else is there to know about the Yamato? Well, its guns are very well protected, unless they're specifically targeted or you get unlucky with someone hitting your citadel. They're not likely to be knocked out or destroyed. And here we go, an enemy Yamato swirled off in the far distance. Can we hit it? And fire. Now, the Yamato's guns, they're not rail guns, so they're not going to arrive there immediately. However, don't think of them as slow. They retain their speed really well. And there we go, 6k, right off the mark. However, it looks like I was not the only one to hit him, and the other person hit him for significantly more. Now, as you can see, they're heading towards the island on the right. This is where we predict them to go behind the island, so we're going to aim where we think their citadel will be. Let's see if this pays off. And has it paid off? Yes, it has. However, not as much as we hoped, but never complain about a citadel, and we've got incoming shells. However, I suspect it is very likely that it's too little too late. But trading one citadel for 6,000 damage is always good. And there goes the Bayard, taking down the enemy destroyer. However, it's not likely that that Minotaur is going to let him get away with that. And there's another enemy battleship. A Conqueror, one of the filthy HE spammers. However, don't treat other players like that, please, guys. I don't want to be held responsible for hate. And here we go, firing at the Yamato because it's giving us a broadside, and we couldn't shoot the Conqueror because of the island. Same applies for the Minotaur. However, that Yamato turned in. Now, if he'd turned in a little later, that would have been a lot of citadels. However, no luck for us. As you can see, that spotter plane is keeping the Minotaur spotted. And it's only until that plane gets shot down that that Minotaur will go unspotted. So, we're going to be annoying and pop our own spotter. However, unlike that spotter, this one will be used to hurt him. And there we go, brown alert on the Minotaur. And all his defensive smokes are too little too late. Down goes the Minotaur. Now we have two targets to face off against. The Yamato and the Conqueror. And because the Yamato is closer and has lower health, we're going to focus that one down. Alright, here we go. Nope. Looks like we're going to actually shoot the Conqueror, who is showing broadside. And broadside gets paddled, as Jingles says. However, it's also a Conqueror, which means that you want to hit the citadel, you've got to get really lucky. Also, never let a Conqueror get away when it's on low health. It will come back to haunt you. And you'll see that later in this replay. However, of course, Conqueror is also really easy to damage. That's the trade-off that Wargaming gave the Conqueror. No citadels, but really easy to damage. And that US battleship isn't gonna let us bully its friends. So let's show it what we do to people who annoy us. Yep, and there we go. Finally, the spotter plane going down, making aiming at the Yamato's citadel much easier. As I said, if you aim at the side cheeks, you're very likely going to hit the citadel, unless of course RNG says no. And let's see, how do we do? We misjudged. That Yamato is not going forward, but it's actually going backwards. So, it wasn't RNG that said no, it was just us aiming poorly. However, we can't let this Yamato survive, otherwise it's gonna be a pain to our team. So let's fire off once again, and hopefully that should do it for the enemy Yamato. And will it do it? Ooh, no. That was RNG this time. RNG said no. And RNG's word is final. Now we're putting our nose onto the Yamato, that way there's less of an angle. There's more of an angled target for the enemy ships to shoot at. Sorry for my incorrect wording there. And hopefully this should finish off the Yamato. And there we go. No more enemy Yamato. Now it's just two ships. One currently visible. However, I don't think the enemy team's going to let their friends be bullied by the rest of our team. And our destroyer on really low health. Now let's hope that our destroyer doesn't shoot the Conqueror, otherwise he's going to get the attention of the Conqueror. And it doesn't really matter what health that Fantastique has, because that health can be knocked out by anything. And there's the enemy Misery, and we're on brown alert. As you can see, he's caught us broadside. And he takes a nice healthy half of our health out. Yeah, thank you very much, Misery. Really appreciate that one. But we've broken 100,000. And we'll set priority target on the Misery, hoping our non-spec Yamato can do damage with its secondaries. And down goes the allied battleship. He is almost still alive, but not for very long. Now here's where I make a mistake, which is I let the enemy Conqueror get away. As you can see, it's on really low health, which means that I could, in theory, one-shot this Conqueror. And here we go, hoping to do a huge amount of damage in one salvo, because Conquerors, while they're hard to hit as far as their citadels go, it is not impossible. However, our luck is definitely running out. And remember, if you're on fire, don't put it out immediately, unless of course you've got more than one. Now, our options are to ram or try and citadel this Misery. And he's definitely going for our citadel. And this time Orange is being compliant. And maybe we'll get the back turret in when damaging him. And he just made a mistake. He hit the side armor of the turret. Not enough to knock it out, but enough for us to survive. And again, making a miscalculation at extreme angles. As you're about to see, the overmatching rule is going to take effect, because we're getting the 32mm rear of the Misery, and we're going to punish that by taking it out. And now we're up against the Conqueror, alone, with low health, and the Conqueror using its heal. Or recently used its heal. And as I said, they're a filthy HE spammer, which means that we're not going to survive long because we used our repair. However, we're also spec'd into survivability, which means that it will go out quickly. However, Conqueror's shells do a lot of damage, especially the HE ones. Alright, let's see what the rest of the team's doing. Alright, and looking at the scores, our team has done rather well. They've taken all 3 caps. Now let's jump to the Harugumo, who is taking on the enemy Akazuki, firing off its torpedoes. Now taking on the Otago, however it's very short for this world indeed. Down goes the Harugumo. From here, the enemy Akazuki is very likely to focus on the Grosser Kerr first, and run into those torpedoes. Speaking of torpedoes, let's go over to the Asashio, which is bullying the enemy battleship, along with another destroyer in smoke. It's also got rather nasty torpedoes. Speaking of torpedoes, looks like they're gonna have absolutely all the best luck in the world, with the torpedoes running out of range before they can hit. And down goes the enemy Akazuki to the Harugumo's torpedoes. Now, as I was saying, the Sashio has rather nasty torpedoes, as we all know. And for some of us, we've learned this the hard way, by taking it to the face. But down goes the enemy battleship. Now the destroyers are going to be spotting the enemy cruiser, or should I say the enemy Otago, to be more precise. And off in the distance we can see the enemy Conqueror. However, the entire team is focusing on the Otago. Now let's jump to someone who can actually shoot the Otago, which will be the Zao, or if you wish to call it, the Zao. It depends who you ask. And here comes the rather nasty shells from the Zao, taking out the enemy Otago. However, Rosa Kerfus looks like he's in a world of pain. If he can't get these fires out, he's gone. Or if the Conqueror gets a good salvo, they're gone. So let's hope they get behind the island before they sink. And there go the fires. And the enemy Conqueror's salvo doesn't hit home, so it looks like that's GG, and the team wins by points. There we go. Now we'll have a look at the post-battle results. And there we are. 500,000 credits, 7,200 credits, and 1.5k free XP, with 185,000 damage. As you can see, the Yamato is a very capable ship, with lots of pens and overpens, and a few ricochets. Most of those being from the Missouri. Let's see how we did on the team. We are top of the team, with over 400 points over the next person. Let's have a look at the detailed results. We only damaged 4 ships this battle, but we did significant damage to each one. The least being to the Minotaur, but we killed that. And we took just over 1 million points of potential damage. And out of that 500,000 credits we made, we got 425,000 damage. 425,000 credits. My bad there. Right everyone, that's been the first video of this channel. Thank you again for watching and sticking around all the way to the end. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, or give us a dislike, and write in the comments why I suck. Thank you and goodbye.